So I was thinking, if this channel ever goes downhill, I could always try out that whole ASMR thing. About a year ago, we switched insurance carriers, and this is a big pain, lots of moving parts, so naturally, I'll let my wife take care of it. So a year went by and I just kind of assumed that the policies were more or less the same until I went to make the annual update to personal articles. That would be things like expensive gear and equipment, jewelry, watches, and most importantly here, gold. And what should have taken a minute or two took a little bit longer because my gold is no longer insured. Apparently, the new policy covers a few $100s of what it refers to as valuables. And that means cash on hand, precious metals, securities, velvet bags full of loose diamonds, whatever. So if you get robbed, if your house burns down, they cover $200 worth of non-itemized valuables. And that's in total. Now that alone is not a huge deal to me because I've always had valuables itemized in personal articles addendum to any of my homeowners policies. So that's jewelry, watches, computer, photography equipment, bikes, guns, any kind of particularly expensive gear or bling, all that can go into the personal articles policy. It just requires a receipt and maybe an appraisal. But as it turns out, this particular company won't cover gold bullion at all. And after doing a little bit of research, I found out that that's actually very common, at least for typical personal policies. Okay, so I've been dragging some gold out here, and what I have on the desk now is about $75,000 worth of gold. And when I was talking to the agent, the way he put it is that if I want to keep it at my house, well, I'm on my own. Now, if you're following along here, you're either surprised by this or you aren't. And this isn't actually a huge surprise to me, and I definitely operate like I'm on my own regardless, but the amount of gold I have on site has increased in the past year and a half. Up to 2019 or so, I never kept more than $20,000 in gold on property. I use a depository or gold vault that has allocated storage, it's segregated, and it is fully insured. Now the vault is not a quick trip for me, so I don't go often, but my prior plan was always to store anything more than say 12 ounces off-site. Now being a guy and being a guy with guns, I've never really worried about it a whole lot, but having that insurance plan there made me feel a little bit better about any potential loss. Anyway, the call with the insurance agent makes me think I need to get back on plan, so here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm just going to split it up. I was doing that previously, but I guess I got sucked into these videos. And then having more gold on hand, I think made them easier. Maybe I just thought it made them look better. I don't know. But I stopped doing what I was doing previously. Now, I have off-site spots that I can easily store gold at, and two of them have solid security systems. They have cameras, they have hidden safes. They also have more conspicuous safes. And I have a feeling that if anyone came in for a smash and grab, that's what they would end up with. Well, I don't want to lose any of the safes, of course. So I do have simple location beacons in them. I think I have a tile in one, but mostly like Apple AirTags. It's mainly paperwork, identification cards, titles, things like that I don't want to lose, but that's probably what would get grabbed. Now, the most important documents, of course, are also well hidden. This isn't a security video, but I just say that I've covered all of the obvious bases. In the case of natural disasters, my safes are also waterproof and they're all fire rated to 2 hours. The third spot is less secure, a little bit further away, and it's probably not a great spot to store valuables. So without giving up too much here, I have a little bit at each of those spots, or at least I do when I'm sticking to plan, and then I have a vault account. I've mentioned that already. Now each of you can weigh out the pros and cons of splitting up physical gold holdings, but to me there's not a big downside to doing that. I just think it makes a lot of sense to split it up. Now the obvious downside would be travel for me, since each of those locations is more or less in a cardinal direction from my home. There would definitely be traveling involved to bring it all back together. In certain ways, though, that's actually a positive. Now, I know some people think of precious metals as insurance against these big catastrophes, SHTF events. They get thrown around in the comments a little bit. And I think a little bit of that emergency planning does make sense, but I also think that the most likely reasons that I would need to get at my precious metals would allow a day trip. Now, the vault is another aspect of this that I know people debate, since you might not be able to get at it in certain circumstances. You can weigh that out on your own, but that makes it no different than cash in a savings account, and most of us already have that. It's possible that you would have trouble getting it out. It's extremely unlikely, but it's possible. But a gold vault will also buy your gold from you if that's what you want. And that's a convenience that I personally think outweighs these potential downsides. So add to that the fact that it's fully insured and it's just a safe option to consider. Now you'll have paper trails, of course, but that happens when you put the money back into your account. There is no reporting requirement from those gold vaults to the government. At least not up until the point that you sell. Now, when you sell, it's going to operate the same as a local coin shop sale in that if it goes over a certain amount, then there are some forms. So just to be super clear here, though, I'm not talking about a safe deposit box at a bank. This is an actual gold depository, an actual bullion bank. There are security guards in full kit. It's a serious thing. I'm not trying to convince anyone here to use a vault, and I'm not trying to convince anyone to spread out your gold across the entire country. You should really do whatever makes the most sense to you. All of these options are worth considering though, and in my particular case where I'm dragging gold out on camera each week, I have a few more things to consider. I'm already breaking the first rule of keeping your precious metals safe, and that, of course, is simply to not talk about it. This, of course, is an anonymous channel, but I do need to take certain precautions, and I have to take them probably a step further and just get some of it locked away. And for all we know, I took all of this by boat, and it's about to get lost in a boating accident anyway, so problem solved. So there it is. This video makes me a little bit uncomfortable, but it comes up a lot. And since it's about to get split up anyway, I thought might as well throw it out on the table one last time. The comments are wide open here. I always like to hear what others do for security, but I understand that the disclosure of that security alone just isn't a fantastic idea. So let us know whatever you're comfortable with. And while you're there, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed if you're into the topic of gold and silver. And if you're still here, thank you again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.